Welcome back to the channel. When you hear the word Viking, what comes to mind? A giant warrior. A horned helmet. A bloodthirsty barbarian sailing across the sea. That's the image most people have. But there's one problem. Much of it isn't true. For centuries, stories, movies, and popular culture have painted a picture of the Vikings that doesn't match reality. Today, we're uncovering 5 lies about Vikings that millions of people still believe, and by the end of this video, you might see the Vikings in a completely different way. Let's begin. This is probably the biggest Viking myth of all time. Ask almost anyone to describe a Viking, and they'll mention the horns. It's everywhere. Movies. Cartoons. Sports logos. Costumes. The problem? There's no evidence that Viking warriors commonly wore horned helmets in battle. Archaeologists have uncovered Viking weapons, armor, tools, jewelry, and even helmets, but not the famous horned battle helmets shown in popular culture. And honestly, it wouldn't make much sense. Imagine fighting with a heavy axe while giant horns stick out from both sides of your head. An enemy could grab them. They could throw off your balance. They would be more of a disadvantage than an advantage. So where did the idea come from? Ironically, not from the Vikings. The image became popular during the 1800s when artists and costume designers wanted Vikings to look more dramatic. The design was memorable. People loved it. And eventually, fiction became accepted as fact. The most famous Viking symbol wasn't created by Vikings at all. Most people imagine Vikings as rough, filthy warriors who rarely cared about their appearance. But history tells a different story. Archaeologists have discovered combs, razors, tweezers, and other grooming tools in Viking settlements. That might not sound surprising today. But over 1,000 years ago, personal grooming wasn't always a priority. The Vikings took it seriously. In fact, some historical accounts from England complained that Viking men were attracting local women because they bathed regularly and kept themselves well-groomed. Think about that for a moment. The fearsome warriors we imagine as dirty barbarians were actually known for looking after themselves. It's one of the most unexpected details in Viking history. And it completely changes the image many people have of them. When people hear the word Viking, they often think of violence. Burning villages. Attacking monasteries. Stealing treasure. And yes, Vikings did raid. But that's only part of the story. Most Vikings were not full-time warriors. They were farmers, fishermen, blacksmiths, traders, parents. Many spent far more time working their land than fighting battles. The reason we hear so much about Viking raids is simple. The people who got attacked wrote about it. And those stories survived. But the quieter parts of Viking life often went unrecorded. The truth is that Viking society was far more complex than most people realize. They built communities, created trade networks, and helped connect different parts of the world. They weren't just raiders. They were builders too. Most of us grew up learning that Christopher Columbus reached the Americas in 1492. But here's something many people don't know. Vikings arrived centuries earlier. Around the year 1000, Norse explorers crossed the Atlantic Ocean and reached North America. One of the most famous was Leif Erikson. Imagine how incredible that was. No engines. No GPS. No modern navigation, just wooden ships and the open ocean. Yet somehow, they managed to travel farther than many people thought possible. Archaeological discoveries later confirmed that Viking settlements existed in North America long before Columbus arrived. For many people, this comes as a huge surprise. But it shows just how skilled Viking sailors really were. They weren't simply warriors. They were some of the greatest explorers of their age. Movies love making Vikings look enormous. Towering men with muscles the size of tree trunks. The kind of people who could defeat entire armies on their own. Reality was much less dramatic. Most Vikings were ordinary human beings. Some were tall. Some were short. Some were strong. Some were not, just like people today. The image of the giant Viking warrior is largely a modern exaggeration. Hollywood loves larger-than-life characters. But history is rarely that simple. The real strength of the Vikings wasn't their size. It was their adaptability. Their ships. Their navigation skills. Their ability to travel, trade, explore, and survive in difficult environments. That's what made them remarkable, not giant muscles. Not magical strength. And certainly not horned helmets. So what were Vikings really like? They were explorers. Traders. Farmers. Craftsmen. Settlers, and yes, sometimes warriors. But they were far more than the stereotypes we've inherited. The strange thing about history is that the truth often gets buried beneath the myths. Over time, stories become exaggerated. Details get changed. And eventually, people start believing things that were never true in the first place. The Vikings are a perfect example. The more historians learn about them, the more fascinating they become. Because the real Vikings weren't less interesting than the legends. They were far more interesting. And that's why history is worth exploring. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know which historical myth you'd like us to uncover next. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next story.